Good evening and good to have you here. And I wanted, people out there who'll be watching this to know about your background and, your experience and the decision to join Lean Body for Life. But why don't we start with your introduction first?
Thank you, Ravesh. Thank you for having me over. Um, I'm actually a clinical psychologist and a trauma psychotherapist. I have been working in this field for the last 14 years. I have a clinic both in Delhi and in Bangalore, and I deal with people with a lot of difficulties, anxiety, depression, marital difficulties, PTSD, to name a few. Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to this interaction and see where this goes.
Thank you. What inspired you, to take the decision to become a member with Lean Body for Life program? So that's where I'd like to start off.
So I was always an active child. I always enjoyed the outdoors. I enjoyed what my body could do. I enjoyed dance. I enjoyed learning some Kalaripayattu. These are things that you sort of learn very early in your life as part of, some of the knowledge you are imparted with from your family. So I've been trained in Bharatanatyam for a long time. But because of work and pressures of work, I have almost fallen off the grid. Any psychologist would know that when you are working with your mind, there is a mind-body relationship, right? And whatever you're going through within your mind, it impacts your body. And whatever impacts your body impacts your mind. So there's no separation between the two. In fact, some of the things that I would say to help people understand the mind-body relationship is, like for example, when you say that you're feeling depressed, that's reached a bodily sort of a defunctionality by the time you come to a psychotherapist. But the first symptoms might have happened at least 6 months to 8 months, which are usually thoughts, which are largely in your mood, which you may have ignored. And then that shows up in your body later. Like, for instance, you're not able to get out of bed, you're extremely tired, you're not able to focus on work, and you come with more of body symptoms. You say that I'm not able to sit properly, I'm feeling exhausted, I can't think. The mind is not given so much of importance. So the pain that you experience, the emotional pain you experience, which is locked in your body, now drive to a therapist or a practitioner, medical practitioner, who will then diagnose you and say, okay, you need more help. Now, despite knowing this, I've always, I've always tried to run and I've tried to exercise, do some yoga. But time is limited for all of us, and if we're not prioritizing it right, and sometimes you get lost along the way, you can sort of fall off the grid, which happened to me as well. I was taking care of a lot of patients, and being in the caregiving profession, you somehow prioritize your patients over your own health. And I had started to see its impact. I had started to see that I was becoming more tired, I was becoming burnt out. And I always knew that a journey back into the body would help. I was recommended the Lean Body program through a person who's very well known to me, a very dear friend, who then said, why don't you speak and find out? And of course, the team was amazing. The team came out, spoke to me, gave me so much of information about their philosophy, which is the understanding of the mind and body relationship, which resonates so deeply with me. I know this for a fact, I believe this. I know this for sure, that what you do with your body has a direct impact on your mind. And I see it with my clients, right? I see it with my patients. There is countless research that says that if you're able to move your body and if you're able to use your body, even for 30 minutes a day, it has a significant impact on the levels of serotonin in your brain. So when I was introduced to this, I I plunged in with all happiness and all determination, and I started off. I had never heard of the qigong practice ever before that. I mean, considering I have danced for so many years and I have learned some amount of, yoga and all of that, I had never known of qigong practice. So I was pretty much, this is a whole new thing. As a personality, I like to try out new things. I'm not averse to trying new things. I believe that if the philosophy is in its place, it should show up. So that's how I started with Lean Body. The other thing that I liked about Lean Body is the concept, the word Lean Body, right? It's so interesting because if you open any Instagram page or any social media account, everybody is talking about lose 10 kilos in 25 days, right? I mean, and everyone knows that nobody can lose that much of weight in that short a time unless you're sick, unless you're really physically sick. Yeah, there's no other way you can lose that weight. But everybody will stop for a moment, listen to what this person has to say. My experience with my clients also, like they are so desperate to lose weight, they're so desperate to look a certain way, they're so upset about the way they look. For me, it was not so much about the way I look, at least when I started off, it was never that. I always wanted to know what my body was capable of doing. I've always been a person who appreciates my body. I like the way my body looks. I like the way I have been genetically blessed. Yeah, I'm not. For those that don't know, I'm quite short by Indian standards. I'm about just 5 feet 1 inch. In fact, my friends call me 1 inch. So I'm quite short. But it's a marvelous creation, right? I mean, it's capable of doing so many things. So when I heard Lean Body, actually the first thing that went through my mind is, I hope this is not some fad, But I remember when I did the assessment, and I like the entire process of the assessment, the gentleness with which that assessment is done. For instance, there were emails that came in saying that, look, this is just a measure. It's not to actually categorize you and put you in a particular weight group or things like that. And as the coaches always say, which I also very strongly believe in, words have the power to heal and the power to break. So the fact that you have moved away from fat loss or fat body or which is such a negative connotation. It's almost like you're ill, right? I mean, fatness is, or being fat is considered as ill or unattractive. Here the concept was so different. It's about, you're in a journey of reaching a lean body, and you're just a few milestones away, and so there is no pressure on, I need to lose X amount of weight. No, I have never felt even once that kind of pressure. I do my qigong practice, I eat as mentioned, and there is no pressure. I go about living my life, I do my work, I'm happy. You can see it on my face how happy I am. So I actually love the Lean Body program. I highly recommend it. I think this is the way to go. When you take away the negative connotation associated to something that is so fundamental to us, and when you do not have stress reactions out of it, you can always stay with it, right? We always lean towards things that are calmer, happier, energetic. So that's what I see the Lean Body program as.
Thank you for that. And you spoke about Instagram. We found that the term lean sometimes conjures these movie star physiques and stuff like that. Our thinking was different. That the fat loss has been a stigma or has resulted in a stigma for people, and everybody has lean mass. It's a beauty. Everybody has it.
Yeah, that is true.
With varying percentage. And like you pointed out, it's a journey. So you're moving on that journey, but in a positive way, in gain and not loss.
Yeah, Ravish, when you were just saying, I just suddenly remembered something. See, uh, when we talk about a lean body, right? See, when we talk about a body, we're talking about so many things. Like a body is a conceptualization of your cells, your tissues, your organs. When you talk about fat loss, there is almost a separation. Yeah, there is a distinction between the body and a chemical compound that is in your body. Yeah, fat. Everybody has fat. You can't have a body without a fat.
True.
For example, fat is so important for your brain to function. You need fats. It's
Absolutely.
not possible, right?
Absolutely.
So, I think I don't like anything that separates. I like things that come together. I like consolidation. I like the larger meaning, like the Gestalt thought process, which is the sum of the parts. I mean, the whole is always greater than the sum of the parts.
Sure.
So lean body, and I mean, where we're talking about lean muscle mass, and we're talking about the body in general, right? I mean, you're giving value to the person in that body, right? The soul of that person. Yeah, that's different. That's not like the usual.
And the way we looked at it was that, like you said, mind and body, for us, it is also the spirit, the energy that moves us all to look at mind, body, spirit.
That's
and,
right.
From a perspective of a caregiver and a professional in this field, I know India is very short on there is a shortage of professionals. Our percentage per 100,000 people is, I think, what, 0.75 or something
Yeah.
today, which is way so a lot more professionals are required. But having said that, there are hundreds of professionals in this area and working and doing work every day. Many of them use mostly cognitive tools, and some of the professionals, your contemporaries whom I've spoken with, they look at the practices, body work, and I know you give focus to that. But do you think that is something that is essential, or do you think that is an option for the healthcare professionals from this field to consider, and they should only focus on the cognitive tools when working with their patients, or the for want of a better term, I somehow have my reservations on the term patients. So
Yeah,
that's why you saw me a
right.
little
Clients are
hesitant about
better.
it.
Yes. Yeah, you're right. Clients are better. People are better.
Yes.
Those are better terms. Yes. So, yeah, I'm going to answer this question in two ways, right?
Sure.
I mean, I hope that both will make sense eventually. Yeah. So, like I mentioned, I'm a trauma therapist, which means that I help people come out of their traumas, which is the simplest way to say. But if I have to explain a little more, trauma is any event that can cause pain and can change the course of your life. So if you're working or you're functioning in a certain way, now to cope, you pick up actions or behaviors that are new, which did not exist before the event that triggered this behavior. Yeah. And the idea is, once the trauma is over, these behaviors also cease to exist. They don't need to continue. Now, the brain has only one primary function. Everything that it does is for survival. Yeah, that's the only function it has. Even eating our food, sleeping, all of this is for survival. All regulation of emotions, they're all for survival, right? What the brain does is, after you have a traumatic event, the brain holds that memory of that traumatic event very close to you as a means of protection. So it flashes moments of the trauma in front of you, saying that, hey, this has happened to you. This is what you need to do. You have survived this situation. So if should this happen again, you know what to do. So it's almost like refreshing, ensuring that you are alive. What a lovely way of your brain and your body trying to keep you alive. Yeah. Most people have the understanding that the traumatic event is actually stored only in your brain, within the folds of your brain. Yeah. That's not actually true. we all live like that, right? We almost live in this little box called the cranium, and we believe that that is who we are. But that's not really the truth. For example, the way you behave at an interview let's say you're anxious at an interview, that's exactly the way you behaved before your 10th standard exams. Yeah. So let's say you shiver, you have tremors just before you go for an interview. There's a possibility that you had tremors and shivers before you gave your first public exam.
Sure.
Right? So this is how your body stores information. Your body stores the memory of the event and behaves exactly like it happened before. Yeah. So treatment can't be cognitive alone. Every psychologist, every psychiatrist knows this. Every person knows this. I'll tell you what happens though. Everybody knows it and everybody wants. And we do tell our clients, to be very fair, we tell them that yes, you need to get 30 minutes of exercise, you need to do meditation, you need to do some yoga. Especially if you're from India, you are recommended yoga by most practitioners.
Sure.
Yeah. We understand the importance of yoga. We understand what it does to our body. Everybody does it, but it's not part of the psychotherapeutic functioning that we do. The only places that I see them doing quite seriously are probably in halfway homes or in mental health institutions where this is part of the rigorous, because part of the treatment modality. So you have the whole day planned in such a way that you also have body movement work. So while we do cognitive and we do hypnotic, if you're doing psychodynamic work or you're doing hypnosis or you're doing all of these things, they're not functioning within the body. So you may have made peace with the trauma, and I have had many trauma clients who come back and tell me that, yeah, I understand that, yes, this is not my fault, something untoward such as abuse or rape has happened to me, but my body doesn't forget. It's almost like anybody touches me, I can feel what my abuser did that day, while I can see it with my own eyes that the person who is touching me is not an abuser, for instance. Yeah.